Welcome into the Fantasy Six Pack 2023 Fantasy Baseball Team Previews. I am Jason. You can find me on Twitter at Dbacks. I'm joined by JP, and you can find him on Twitter at DapScout. If you haven't done so already, please go down there and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're going to get great fantasy content all year long, like these team previews. And if you want to get great access to award-winning advice and rankings and more, we got that available at Fantasy Six Pack. You can sign up for memberships today at fantasysixpack.net/plans. And if you use promo code F6PMLB, you can get an extra 15% off all of our available options there. And if you're looking for more customizable settings for Fantasy Baseball League, then you need to try out Fantrax. You can create an account today at fantrax.com/fantasy6pack, and you can see what you've been missing. I think, like I just said, customizable should be what the Fantrax uses as their slogan, right? Because it's one of the most customizable sites I've used for fantasy baseball, and it just got, endless amount of customization. So go ahead and head on over to Fantrax to get that set up. Let's go ahead and jump into the 2023 Fantasy Baseball Team previews. Today we're going to be doing the Arizona Diamondbacks. Let's go ahead and start with the starting lineup here. Leading off, we have Corbin Carroll, followed by Ketel Marte. Hitting third, we got Jake McCarthy. Hitting fourth is Christian Walker. Fifth is Josh Rojas. Sixth is Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Seventh is Alec Thomas. Eighth, Carson Kelly. And ninth is Nick Ahmed. Looking up and down this lineup, obviously one of the biggest question marks I think going into the season would be, what can we expect from Corbin Carroll? He's obviously the number one prospect heading into this season. Got a small cup of coffee last year. Did show some signs that he can, he's not overmatched. Saw the power, saw a little bit of speed. Again, it was only 34 games. Right now, he currently has an ADP of 79. To me, that seems probably right in line. If anything, it probably will climb a little bit here as draft season gets underway. I'm in at that price. I think he, even if you see the batting average dip a little bit, I think he's going to get on base enough to get the stolen bases. The power is going to be there. And it's just a matter of time of him adjusting to the pitchers adjusting to him. And obviously Corbin Carroll is a big name. I think one that's jumping off the page right now too is Jake McCarthy, right? We saw him come up last year and actually outperform, I think, most expectations people had for Jake McCarthy, especially in the speed option. Stole a ton of bases last year as a rookie. And then even more so, sandwiched in between those two, I think, is a big name that most people may be getting fatigued on, and that's Ketel Marte. But when you look up and down this lineup, who are some of the guys maybe you might be targeting?
Well, let's go off your last comment there, Ketel Marte, right? Yes, I am absolutely fatigued on Ketel Marte because last season he was always an intriguing blend of power and speed, and he didn't seem like he had either last year. And he's getting to almost his age 30 season, and again, speed goes away quick. I'm sorry, didn't mean to be redundant there. Ketel Marte is not somebody I want to target early. If I can get him, middle of a draft, absolutely. But that's not somebody who I am going to be, targeting as a absolute rebound contender. Corbin Carroll is a stud. The short, time that we saw him, guy was just amazing. He's exactly what we thought, and he's going to have a chance to play. He's not going to have anybody pushing him. That's his starting job, along with Jake McCarthy. I think, Carroll and McCarthy both look incredible, and I want those guys early. I've been seeing Carroll go as early as third round, which I thought was early initially, and now I'm like, I have to target him that early. Outfield drops off after certain tiers. I definitely think Corbin Carroll's in those first three tiers, but definitely those are two guys I'd definitely be targeting. The two names here that I really want to kind of touch on here. Alec Thomas was a great best ball pickup last year. He's cheap. He gives you some power, gives you some speed, and gave me kind of all these different pieces that I needed. So Alec Thomas is definitely a great kind of late pickup if you just need to round out and have kind of that reserve option, or for best ball as well. The one name that's not on this list that I am absolutely in on and intrigued by is the other catcher, right? Gabriel Moreno. Carson Kelly is, a great veteran, puts up some OBP numbers, et cetera. But Gabriel Moreno is, the prospect that they got. They got him from Toronto late last year. And he's shown that he absolutely has a great bat and is ready to play. Only question is, is he ready for behind, the plate? Can he call a game? Those types of things. But that's somebody who, if I'm in a two catcher league, he's my second catcher I have been targeting in the last 11 or so drafts. People have let him drop. I expect him to play quite a bit, barring injury. And that's somebody who I'll be targeting a lot in all my drafts is Gabriel Moreno.
Yeah, glad you brought that up because like right now he's just kind of probably going to split time with Carson Kelly, but he's obviously the better of the two options. And just circle back on Alec Thomas, I totally agree. I think Alec Thomas with an ADP right around 400. He's someone that he's my dude. He's from Chicago area. I got to see him play here when he was with the Kane County Cougars. I think he has all the abilities. I think the defense alone is going to keep him in that lineup. If he can just kind of hone in that plate approach and maybe cut down on the strikes and the swings and misses, I think he's got that power speed combo too that a lot of these outfielders have in the Arizona Diamondbacks. And if you got an outfield of Carroll, McCarthy, and Thomas, they can be running wild on those bases.
Exactly.
Let's go ahead and jump over to the starting rotation here. We got Zac Gallen, followed by Merrill Kelly. 3, another ageless wonder, Madison Bumgarner. 4 is Zach Davies. And that 5th spot right now they have slated as, this is obviously just a projection right now, but it's Ryan Nelson. There's a few guys there that are, kind of vying for that 5th spot in, Dre Jameson, as well as Brandon Fidat, who had just a great minor league season last year when he led all the minors in strikeouts.
Right.
And then, Zac Gallen, Madison Bumgarner. What are we going to get out of Bumgarner? But when you look up and down this lineup or this rotation, what are you looking at here to target?
Well, Zac Gallen, absolutely right. He's somebody I definitely want as my SP2, if at all possible. Not somebody I definitely want to have as my SP1, but Zac Gallen, absolutely. The one name here that I just want to point out here is Merrill Kelly. Put up fantastic numbers last year, but honestly, I didn't realize that he was 34 years old. I mean, he's going to be 35 this year, and I thought he was some reason in my head. I thought he was like his mid 20s. The guy just doesn't seem like the Madison. He's actually older than Madison Bumgarner, and for some reason, I didn't think that was the case at all. It just blew my mind. So Zac Gallen for sure, Zach Davies because again you're going to have kind of a cheaper version here of that last kind of starting pitcher piece. But I'm really interested in that 5th spot of the rotation, right? That Fat was amazing last year in the minors, and I just wanted to say his last name about 3 more times because that'll be a fat pick. But he did so good last year, considering that he was in a hitters friendly park. He had showed control, his ERA, all the peripherals showed as well that we're looking at somebody who could be back up the numbers that he put up last year. So I definitely am in on Brandon Fat. I've picked him up a bunch as my SP5, SP6, and definitely somebody who I think is going to if he shows what he showed last year, I think you have a potential for an SP3, SP2 return.
Yeah, I think consensus kind of agrees with us too because his ADP is ridden up to 366 already. I thought for sure he'd be on the outside of the top 400, but no, that's a name that's getting sexy in draft season here and it's climbing up the ADPs. Obviously for the right reasons as well. Let's go ahead and jump over to the bullpen here. We got a big giant closer by committee. We got start off here with Andrew Chafin, Kevin Ginkel, Joe Mantiply, Mark Melanson, Miguel Castro, and then the mid rotation guys right now are Scott McGow, Kyle Nelson, and Corbin Martin. This closer, this bullpen, I don't want any part of it. As you can see, they don't even know who their closer is going to be because none of them are good enough to be it. I think if twist my arm, I'm picking one of those guys is going to be Mantiply just because I've seen him, have that strikeout abilities. I guess in the lesser form too, Melanson, right? We've seen him be their closer before, but I don't think the confidence there is there anymore. But I just want no part of these closer situations. I don't think any of them are either good enough to be the closer and the opportunities are going to be there. But what do you think about the bullpen?
Well, if you see CL more than twice on a bullpen, you're wanting to avoid that from a saves perspective. That's just automatic. I think that Chafin you know what you're going to get. When you saw him with the Cubs, when you saw him with the A's, he's a guy that's going to get hit around a lot, and then he has these great, 3 or 4 sessions, and then he, gets hit around again. He gets scored on, he gets hit. So Chafin for me is absolutely not somebody I want to have as any part of a closer. Frankly, none of this. It's a team that's not going to win a lot of games, although that lineup looks phenomenal. And so I just want to avoid this. I will, however, and I hate to bring this up again, whoever loses between the Fat and Jameson, duel for that 5th spot, I'm going to grab because they're going to be used in the bullpen. There's no way they're going back down to the minors, and they're going to be used in the bullpen in some way, either long or mid, and that's going to be the guy that's going to be swinging up. I think Jameson has the stuff to be an amazing bullpen artist if he doesn't make that 5th spot.
Yeah, I just kind of go back on that closer role. One more little tidbit here. Mark Melancon, he was a closer last year, and also 2 years ago was it with San Diego and he closed 39 games or saved 39 games. So I think he probably has the first crack at it. But again, he's not someone that's like your lights out closer. But hey, at an ADP of 540, I think that's who I'd be throwing my chart at in this.
Wow, yeah, no, for sure. If I whiffed on all closers, one of these really close heavy leagues, Melancon is a great pick, and that's a great tidbit.
Yeah, well, we'll end it there then. So let's go ahead and wrap up the 2023 fantasy baseball team preview of the Arizona Diamondbacks. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're going to get great fantasy content like this all season long. Until next time.